Hi, welcome to this week's episode of the Financial Dispensary with me, Dr. G. In this week's episode, we're going to start the journey towards financial independence and take the first very important step. You do not want to miss this episode because I'm going to help you achieve financial independence. Let's go. So we all yearn for financial independence, but it's not that easy. That's why we always talk in financial planning, we talk about it's a journey. It's that old saying, it's not a sprint, it's a marathon. And I'm going to help you today with the first step that we need to put down before walking this journey of 1,000 miles. So, what do we need to do first? Well, first, very importantly, you need to be honest with yourself. I know this might sound a bit odd. What does it mean to be honest with myself? The reality is the following, is that while you're sitting there and listening or watching me at the moment, you are in a specific financial position. Now, all of your successes, and more importantly, all of your financial failures in the past is your fault. That's right, it's your fault. You got fired from your job? Shame. That was your fault. You don't have the necessary skills that the marketplace needs? Well, that's your fault. And if you have a lot of debt and you're heavily indebted, I'm sorry to say that's also your fault. And that's why the first step is being open and honest with yourself. Remember, you are in charge of your own financial destiny. And it's up to you to be honest with yourself and say, you know what happened in the past, and I'm now going to draw a line in the sand and not let that influence me any further. It is very important that you understand, and this ties into the second step that we forget about the past, is that things happen in your life, and that's okay. What's more important is that you take now control of your new financial future. And that's why being honest and open with yourself in terms of what happened in the past and now forgetting about the past so that you can organize yourself for the next step is very, very important. So after that bit of a pep talk and a bit of introspection in terms of what happened in the past and why it happened, let's start and get cracking. So the most important part in terms of building towards your financial independence is getting organized. I cannot tell you how often I see people make this mistake, unfortunately. I always had a saying that you get two types of people in the world. People that are organized and know what's going on in their finances, and people that don't have a cooking clue what's going on. And usually there is a higher probability for the people that are organized to excel financially than the people that are not. Usually, or not usually, but that's where sometimes if you're in a relationship, in a personal relationship, it's always good if you have one person that's kind of strong and takes charge with regards to getting organized and taking charge of everything with regards to all the aspects of the financial plan for the household. So, when I talk about getting organized, let's start with the first step that's probably the most important, and it's probably also the most overlooked step in your journey towards financial independence. And that, of course, is a budget. So it's very important that you know the money that's coming in and, very importantly, where it's going to. So I'm going to drop this very basic Excel for you in the description that you can download and complete on your own. But you'll see at the bottom there's different tabs. I'm just going to zoom into the first tab, which is this personal budget one. It's obviously divided into the income aspects. You can add all the various sources of incomes that you earn. The reason why the income is important is that obviously when looking at the budget and completing your budget, you'll most likely see, you know what, it's either very tight or I'm slightly under. That's where a lot of people currently find themselves. And obviously, we as financial planners, they always preach and you say, you know what, try and limit your expenses or reduce your expenses. that, to be very honest, is very difficult to achieve successfully over a long period. It's far easier to increase your income than to reduce your expenses. So hence why zooming into your income, seeing which other sources of income you can generate, is a far easier way for you to see how to balance the books with regards to the budget. The income part is there, and then the expenses are kind of bundled together depending on certain kind of areas. So you've got all the home expenses, you've got all of your daily living expenses, and I'll get back now to this daily living expenses. For me personally, this is by far the most trickiest one, especially that first one, groceries. It's very difficult for me to budget in the beginning of the month how much money I'm going to spend on food. There's just so many variables. Then you are invited to a party, then you go out for dinner, then you want to cook a fantastic meal for the family at home, then you feel lazy and you just buy takeaways. It's very difficult to stick within a budget with regards to that. But I'll give you another tip in terms of what I'm doing there to try and keep that under control. Transportation obviously is a big one, especially for us that are unfortunately very dependent on our oil imports. Entertainment, health, vacation, and other kind of non-discretionary or at least discretionary expenses. Recreation, subscriptions, personal things of a personal matter, financial obligations. So this one should actually be much higher, and again in subsequent episodes we're going to zoom into why it's important to pay yourself first and save on the first day that you get your money, and then the miscellaneous payments that you need to make every month. And the Excel, there's some calculators, formulas in the background, so it just adds money in, money out. And this is a very important first step because it will highlight a couple of things that are very important. It's like how much money is coming in, where is it going to, and am I maybe overspending money on certain categories. So how to do this is fairly straightforward. You literally just download your bank statement, or you look at your bank statement in your email inbox, and you literally just complete this from the top all the way down. There's obviously going to be certain areas that are discretionary. So in 1 month it might be 100 Rand, the next month 2,000 Rand. But by completing this budget, and that's why you'll see at the top it's for various months, by completing it for a couple of months, you'll try and get a bit of a more average or rounded amount with regards to where the money is going to. So first step in the getting organized process is creating a budget. The other thing that I want you to do definitely is this balance sheet, which is the one next to the budget. So remember, a balance sheet is a consolidated statement of your assets and liabilities. Assets, these are things that are worth money, and liabilities is when you owe people money. So again, fairly straightforward, divided into certain categories. You have immovable properties. So immovable properties, it's the fancy word for the house that you live in. So a house, apartment, flat, earth, any of those kind of immovable properties. You've got vehicles, business interests, pension interests, investments, and then debt. Any others, so remember, play around with this Excel, customize it, make it very personal to you. But this is step one in the journey towards financial independence. We need to know that you are organized, that you know exactly what your net asset value is, this value at the bottom, your net worth. So this is your assets, the summary of that value, less the liabilities, which is that one on that side. Very important that we have a very good idea in terms of how much are you worth, what is your income, your expenses, so that you know your figures intimately. I just want to zoom into something else now quickly. I told you that personally for me, I struggle a lot with that kind of variable discretionary spend and how to track that. So I'm going to just quickly share my another screen with you to show you in terms of what I found. I'll also drop this in the description for you at the bottom. If I just quickly move to this little screen. So on this website, They showcased 15 habit tracking apps for Android, iOS, and the web in 2023. So remember, Android are all the Samsung type of phones, iOS is Apple, and web internet-based applications. And here on the right-hand side, they list the top 15 applications that you can use. Some of them are for free, or they have a freemium type of version, and others are paid for. For me personally, I've been using this number 3, Strides, for many years, and it works very well for me. Just wanted to kind of bounce this through and literally just show you how it works. It's difficult to see now in terms of the phone, but Strides is the application that you can download on your phone. You can set reminders, but what I effectively do, so I've got an item here, it's called the spending tracker. So I've got a daily amount that I am allowed to spend on discretionary stuff, whatever it is. And all that I do is that every time, as soon as I spend money, I just insert the value into my spending tracker, and it keeps accurate track for me in terms of where my money is going to. So you can add notes. It's very powerful, so I would highly recommend that. But any of those other applications mentioned on this website, you could easily utilize that for that discretionary spending part. We all have fixed kind of recurring kind of contributions or recurring debit orders that go off on a monthly basis. But for me personally, I found the discretionary part was quite difficult, and hence why using a tracking app like that works very well. I'm seeing it slowly but surely starting to roll out in South Africa specifically, is that a lot of the banks, both Discovery Bank, Standard Bank, there's obviously the other app 24/7, are kind of data aggregators that can help you in terms of adding up all your expenses, income and expenses. Play around with this, just find something that works. That's just the most important. We're not going for gold, we're just going for something that's workable. So that's going to be effectively your homework for this week. In next week's session, we are now then going to zoom into this part, which is analyzing all of the data. So as soon as we know the income, the expenses, including how you kind of deal with that discretionary expenses, your assets and liabilities, these are the building blocks, the foundation in terms of what we need to do to build towards your financial independence. So again, just to highlight again the steps that you need to follow through. First part, be open and honest with yourself. If you like most people out there, you might be not that happy with your current financial situation. And be honest with yourself, it's your fault, nobody else's. Do not play the blame game. Take control, and that's we call that kind of internal locus of control. Take control and be honest with yourself and just say, you know what, I stuffed up. It's okay. Which moves us on to the second part, which is forget about the past. Draw the line in the sand and just say what happened in the past, and make a promise to yourself that you won't allow it to happen again. Which brings us to the third point, which is when we're going to get organized. You're going to download the Excel. You're going to download your bank statements. You can complete the Excel, income, expenses, your balance sheet, assets, liabilities. You're going to download, play around with the tracking apps, and get in a routine and a habit of tracking your discretionary spend. Once you have that under control, don't forget to sign in into next week's episode so that we can start analyzing the data and help you how to build from this going forward. And that's it. Welcome on your journey towards financial independence. Welcome to the Financial Dispensary with Dr. G. So, if you like this episode, smash the like button so that we can help the YouTube algorithm, and share this episode with a family member or friend that you think would also benefit from this. If you like the content, don't forget to ping that notification bell and subscribe to the channel so that you are notified when we are ready to move on to the next step and help you build towards your financial independence. That's it from me. All the best. Bye-bye.